This is a Tandy Sensation 1. This is one of the last systems entirely designed in-house by Tandy before it exited the computer market, right before the Sensation 2, which I believe Tandy also designed. And this system right here started out as a 486/25 megahertz with, I believe, 4 megs of RAM. This particular system right here was purchased in pretty rough shape, and I'll bring you through a tour of this in a second. But it came with, I believe, 130 meg hard drive and 4 meg of RAM. And this system has been drastically upgraded and fixed. There were several issues wrong with this when I've got it, and I've got it all up and working again. One of the first issues was the power supply. Now, they don't make these power supplies anymore, so I replaced the power supply with a brand new power supply and installed it inside of the power supply enclosure. Provides plenty of voltage for, I believe, this 90 or 100 watt power supply that was in here. And what's really cool is it operates off of just a standard power brick, which has one of these ends in here. And so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna plug this in the back, which is where the power brick is. Plugs in, so you don't have a normal plug back here anymore. You've got one of these. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug this in, and this thing, I'm going to go ahead and let this thing boot up. But I got the Radio Shack mouse, got a Dell keyboard, got the recovery media for this, and you'll see here in a second, it's booting. It's got 32 megs of RAM now, which is pretty awesome. It actually has an 810 meg laptop hard drive, new old stock. Hard drive had never been used before. I was the first one that took it out of its case in probably 30 years. This thing has been restored back to the Tandy OEM load, which you'll notice here in a second. Now let's kind of go into everything that I did to this system. This system has been fixed up quite a bit. So you already know about the power supply because I told you about the power supply. The second thing that's happened is I put this replacement CD-ROM drive in. I know it says it's a DVD-ROM, but you're probably not going to be reading DVD with a 486 here. But this works beautifully. The old enclosure, it will be included if or the old CD drive will be included if I sold it. But the old one was a very proprietary LMSI, I believe a 1-speed or a 2-speed CD-ROM. It was really slow. Another thing I had to do is I had to fix these volume buttons, which, you know, they were coming out and you know, weren't seated correctly, so I was able to figure out how to fix these with some rubber bumpers and some tape. So these actually stay in place now. The floppy drive originally had a whole bunch of problems reading disks, and pretty much now, you know, I can put a floppy disk in, and we can go up here and let's see here, run program manager here. And so you see, it's got the stuff that's on the A drive here. So I had to make two different disks for this. One of them is the actual boot disk that came with the machine, which had the original CD-ROM drivers on. So I made a second disk that's actually got just, you know, the standard oak CD-ROM drivers for this, and boots up the machine on this. But you know, some of the flaws in this thing, you know, I mean, there's some hairline cracks here. You know, there's one right here. This thing was kind of manhandled when it was shipped to me, so there was a nice crack right here, which I've epoxied and taped on one side. I've also had to epoxy the cover right here and tape it inside as well, and get one of the case pegs to be attached on the inside as well. This thing is a little bit picky sometimes with floppies. There's a little sensor in here that sometimes doesn't see the disk pushed in all the way, and you can mess with the disk and push it down. The only other alternative to that is, you know, eventually finding a same era floppy drive I believe there's a particular Sony that this thing needs to fix that problem. But you know, like I say, about 80% of the time it works just fine. It never has problems reading. It's just it doesn't see the disk sometimes. But everything works on here so far. Let's go ahead and look at some of the old pieces of equipment that I took out of this thing. So if we're going to go over here, this is what used to be in the power supply, and you can see it's quite a bit bigger than what was in the power supply before. This is the old 130 meg drive, and now there's a 810 meg drive using a little program called IDE CD drive. The original hard drive IDE cable that went with this. This is the original 2-speed CD drive that came with this unit. Non-operational, probably needs to be adjusted. You might be able to get it to work again. And then there's the floppy door, which I took off. The floppy drive works a lot better at detecting disks being inserted without this present, but the little springs in here and the little door, just in case you want to put it back on. And there's another Sensation motherboard here, in case one is needed. The Sensation motherboard that I have, that's already in this system, has got 4 8 meg SIMs in it. I think they're just normal fast page 72 pin SIMs. That gives you 32 meg of RAM. And I believe I put the 512K video RAM upgrade in here, so you've actually got 1 meg of VGA video RAM in this thing, which gives you additional screen modes. Also in this thing is a nice Overdrive processor. Actually, it takes the SX 25 megahertz and brings it up to a full 48650, I believe. It's happily running at 50 megahertz here. So this thing is pretty much all maxed out. There's really nothing other than some of the cosmetic cracks and the idiosyncrasy with the little floppy drive here, but the Radio Shack serial mouse, the Dell I'm sorry I don't have a Tandy, but you get a Dell keyboard. The speaker, you heard what it sounded like when I booted this thing up. You've got headphones and microphone jacks, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna shut down Windows here in WinMate, and yes, we're gonna exit WinMate here, and you notice we're at a C prompt. Woohoo! I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna power off this. So there's your power on and off and your little light right here. This right here is the reset button. If you get this thing hard frozen, you can always just hit this instead of turning it off and on, and it'll reboot the machine. Your volume up and your volume down, pretty self-explanatory. And you've got your headphone, and you've got your microphone in right here on the front. Obviously the CD and the floppy drive. So let's go ahead and let's turn this around a little bit and look at the back. So give me a second here while I do that. Let's unplug the VGA here. So back here, obviously you got the fan, you've got the modem, which you can plug in, I think, and make this thing an answering machine, although I haven't tried it. This is the power socket. This used to be the power cord. This is the new power cord right here. You've got your audio out right here, left and right, if you want to use something other than the built-in speaker. This, I believe, is a MIDI interface. It's got the little music note up here. You got a joystick port built into it. You've got a printer port, standard parallel printer. You got your serial port, which I have the mouse connected to. You've got a keyboard port. You've got a PS2 mouse, and then you've got your video. And this is kind of cool. This is the faceplate for the thing. It gives you all the information about it, like the 251650 being the model number and such. This is also kind of interesting. This is the old Tandy service plan sticker. I couldn't remove this. This is too cool. I went ahead and I left this thing. This thing was actually purchased in 1994. By that time, this thing was probably way discontinued. I believe the Sensation 2 had come out, you know, and they were trying to get the Sensation 1s out at Christmas for the most part in '93. So this had to have been a straggler to be sold that late. You know, they bought a 3-year warranty on it, and you know, void if removed. I seriously doubt they would have avoided this, but anyway. Also the boot CDs and the restore CDs that came with this. This system has actually been restored to the original load that it came with. Brand new spanking load, so you can do whatever you want and customize and install whatever you want. Being that it's maxed out and it's got a faster processor, this is a very, very capable 46 system. It's very, very well engineered. These things will last you forever and ever unless you abuse them. It's kind of sad that, you know, there's some cosmetic damage back here with where this person did not package this well. If I ever do send this to someone, it will be packaged very well, and it won't have any you hopefully won't have any cracks or anything dealing with issues here. So anyway, this is the Tandy Sensation 1. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. This is just a super cool system. And if you have any questions, feel free to throw some down in the comments. Have a good one.